We're almost to the barn here. I don't know if the camera looks a little grainy. I think it's just the light. The light in the car. I don't think that helps very much, but whatever. Ava, don't do that. Don't. Stop. Anyway, 3 horses raced away this weekend. Canale Hanover looked to me a little uncomfortable, a little on the right line, a little bit flat in Pennsylvania. I didn't go drive him. Mike Wilder drove him. I know he finished 6th, didn't he? Finished 6th. Finished 6th, didn't get any money. Cruising in Style didn't get any money last night. Both, it's weird because when I look on Track It, I can't see the mile that they went. I can't see the fractions until tomorrow when they update it in Standard Rate Canada. I could go on the U.S. Trotting Association site, I guess, but 6th to 6th. So expecting much better from him. Probably going to talk to Andrew this week and the clients that own him, maybe drop him back down into the Stallion Series for a week. They're no slouches. They went in 55 today. I think there's much more to be seen from Canale Hanover. You know, when I look at Canale Hanover, last year he was on the right line a hair in the turns and on the left line a hair in the straightaways. Actually, traveling pretty perfect for a 2-year-old colt. This year he wears a roller burn and Murphy blind on the left. Something's biting him a little bit on that right side. Listen, Andrew's a smart horseman. We'll talk about him, but I'm pretty sure he's already well on top of it. And next week is the Poconos. I don't know what Andrew wants to do. I guess after Cruising in Style and Canale Hanover, we had some clients change their mind, wanted me to drive them, but you know, we're not gonna make any seismic shifts after one start. Canale Hanover will be racing next week, I would assume, at the Poconos. Guys, Ava will be racing in the Poconos next Saturday, and then I believe Saturday, maybe Sunday, I'm not sure. And then we have, and then we'll have Cruising in Style. He won't be making a start right away. We'll get that. You know, I think, and again, I haven't checked it. I think his next Sire Stakes is in Buffalo. Cruising in Style will not be racing over Buffalo's half-mile track. He's not built for a half. He won't get over a half good, and it's pretty hard to think that we can bounce him over to bounce him through Buffalo, and then have him race well. I don't know when the last time a Hamiltonian winner raced in Buffalo. I can tell you that. So if we believe that he's going to be able to, you know, race with the big boys, he's not going to be racing at Buffalo. So, I mean, I haven't talked to Andrew, but I can only imagine Andrew agrees. Whether you believe after 2 starts, Cruising in Style belongs being talked about in the same breath as a Hamiltonian, he certainly doesn't belong being talked about as racing in Buffalo his next start. So, I would assume his next start's 2 weeks away in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe Andrew can race him in New Jersey, where he can throw them on Lasix much easier. Race him in New Jersey and get a start into him there. And then Lawmaker, everybody's asking about Lawmaker. So Lawmaker just wasn't ready to qualify on Friday. We've been keeping very, very close eye on his leg. His leg looks perfect to the naked eye. There's a reason they built machines to look inside. So we've had his leg ultrasounded. We had him fluoroscoped and x-rayed everywhere. There is absolutely nothing wrong with Lawmaker. There was, the vet said, but we didn't qualify him ultimately because the vet said there's still some distension in his leg. It's a fancy way of saying the veins are distended, the ligament. So it's just a fancy way of saying his leg's still bruised. His leg's still bruised. So, don't be giving me scowly faces, you'll be getting crybaby of the week. So Lawmaker just needs another week. Now, honestly speaking, to put it in perspective, it's not a big deal. And he's still got 16 or 17 added money events this year. And I'm not concerned. But obviously, missing the first 2 Sire Stakes in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes, a little concerning in the fact that now we have him geared for bigger and better things, we hope. But it's not the end of the world if he misses those 2 stake races. The only problem is his first start is going to be in the Good Times elimination. That is not an ideal situation. That's not something that I would say would be planned. So a little frustrated with that and the time frame, but the horse is fine, and that's what's most important. You know, I had finished an email to our clients the other day about it, saying, you know, don't worry about him missing the first 2 stake races. Lima's son's standing in the stall for the last 5 weeks. He's going to miss the whole year. He ended up being injured. He qualified. We had him into race and come up lame, and he ended up injuring his suspensory. So Bit of an accident-prone horse, but nevertheless, I like him a lot. We're going to keep him. You probably won't see him till December. So in regards of the big picture, as I was saying, if you're going to take a big picture look at what's going on with Lawmaker, it's not really the end of the world. We're just being extra cautious with our best horse, or what I believe is our best horse. And, you know, for the people out there that own Cruising in Style, Cruising in Style is a good horse. Cruising in Style's attitude's always been in question, but he's always been super fast. He beat up on Lawmaker training down as a 2-year-old, and then Lawmaker ended up being the grittier of the two, if you will. So, talent-wise, they're very similar. Attitude-wise, a little bit different. So, for me, that's the only reason I say that Lawmaker's our best horse. But I'd happily be wrong. I just want to have some good horses. So whether it's Lawmaker, Cruising in Style, Canali, Hanover, or any of the other horses, don't kid yourself. 2 Old Boston Glide, he got a little hiccup there. He injured his leg a little bit. Buddy. Shh. Yeah, we're going to end about half an hour. So, he injured his leg a little bit, but it didn't turn out being anything major, which I thought it was. So that's a horse that trotted in 56 last quarter and 28, his like 5th lifetime start. Looked like a real powerhouse. My only concern with Boston Glide is I think he's actually faster than he should be right now, and he's going to have to be coddled. We're really going to have to watch this colt. He's a big, heavy colt, and I'm always worried about him getting injured. So there's 4 horses that I think are pretty good horses moving forward. I'm sure I'm missing lots. I've always touted Road Tripper. He's got tons to prove still, making breaks and qualified well the other day, and you really can't mention him in the same breath as the other horses, but I think this colt's got a huge future in front of him. He's not going anywhere. So, number of nice horses. I just pulled up in front of Kevin's barn. I'm just going to take a walk through, make sure everything's okay. Going to take a walk through Jason's barn. He's in the next shed row over. Then we're way down at the other end. We'll walk through. I want to take a look at some of the babies and make sure that they've eaten and that everything's okay with them. So, I can't cut them off again. We're going to give you a real quick rundown right now. Kevin's barn racing this week. Beck's Pride raced terrible. The only reason is he's not a very good horse. But he tries. I said it in the interview before. I said, you know, Beck's Pride is not a great horse right now, but he's built like a good horse, and he wants to be a good horse. And I want to believe that there's more speed in there, that he just needs to mature. Ava, stop it. He just needs to mature a little bit. Hi, Ollie Bear. So we are going to qualify him. He raced so bad actually on Friday that he has to re-qualify. We're going to re-qualify him on Monday morning and see if we can't let his hobbles out and get him over to the Mohawk, the bigger track. Stop, bud. Stop. And get a good line on him. So Beck's Pride, he's okay. I think he could be a much better horse, but I know he's trying, so we'll do what we can. Hey, sit back in your chair, please, buddy.
I want to sit in your lap.
No, you're not sitting on my lap. I have to do these videos. You can stay right there and that's it, but not make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I want to get in the action.
Anyway, so that's Beck's Pride. Dancing at Midland, great news with Dancing at Midland. We had to scratch him in his last start. The vet told us when she x-rayed him, she thought she saw a little line in his cannon bone, but it could have been what she categorized as a, buddy, stop, as a stinger, where the horse actually hits the bone and bruises the front of the leg. Bruises the front of the leg. So we were hopeful that's what it was. Worst case scenario, it was a line in the pastern, 4 weeks in the, or a line in the cannon bone, 4 weeks in the stall, and then back at it. It ended up being best case scenario. Oliver Frederick James, sit in the back right now in your chair. Both of you right back now. Thank you. So, great news with Dancing in Midland. Really lucky there. So he'll resume his training probably back in, I don't know, maybe a week from Monday or a week from Thursday. Oliver and Ava, stop it please. And who else do we got here? Beck's Pride. Book the Bet. Book the Bet actually raced huge. She finished 4th, but raced as good as she could, and everybody said, 57. It's a big mile over London. The horse that came first over is one of Determination's very expensive babies that was just getting her racing career underway. She come first over, wore me down. I ended up 4th. I thought Book the Bet raced good. I think Kevin was talking about a shoe-in change on her before the City of London final. We talked about it. He wanted to put aluminums on her, I believe, but I don't really know, young man. Nah. You gonna choke me out? Okay, so booked the bet, raced really, really well on, what night was that? Tuesday night? I think it was Tuesday night. She's in actually Saturday.
Thursday.
No, it was Tuesday. She's in next Saturday at Western Fair. Stop. Next, Delmar J. Delmar J, so we talked about Delmar J a number of times with the clients, and Delmar J is not the soundest horse. Delmar J, he's got a few little issues that bother him. He's one tough bugger, I'll tell you what. He goes out and races good. Problem is, we can't train him real hard in between starts for now. So he's out there doing the best he can, racing week to week to week, without any big training miles in between. And doing the best he can. Pulled up a third, made it into the final of the trotting race. Very, very happy with this horse. I mean, just a lot of grit and determination. Master Saver, raced a bit flat, finished 5th, trotted in 2-3. Both of them are kind of mediocre horses. That perennial bubble horses. Hey, perennial bubble horses that are doing okay. So, Delmar J will race in the final of the City of London Trotting Series next Saturday. And I would say Master Saver, I doubt they have consolation. Master Saver, no, they don't. For sure they don't. Master Saver will race in a maiden, I guess, next week sometime. Facing Justice had a nasty, nasty abscess in his foot. Oliver, are you an octopus? Sit in your chair right now. Right now. So, Facing Justice had an abscess in his foot. We just couldn't get it out. And we tried and tried and tried. Finally, got his foot under control, and it was a mess. Finally got it under control. Kevin did a great job getting him back sound. He's back jogging. Has trained twice since. And looks very, very good. So I imagine he'll probably school him Thursday or Friday. And then we will be back racing him. Happy Holidays made it back. Qualified in 59, last quarter in 27 in a bit, if I'm not mistaken. Here's a filly that we broke, a mare, we broke the track record in Flamborough with last year. She made like 70,000 racing on the B tracks, which is considerable considering the B track purses. So, Happy Holidays, qualified fantastic. Looks great. Making her first start next week, likely at Flamborough or London, I would say. I said this before, I'm not sure, but if I'm not mistaken, I think she's the fastest trotting mare of all time in Canada on a half. I could be wrong. She's definitely top 5. 54-4 is a massive mile on a half-mile track. I think she might have the record, the Canadian record of all time.
90%.
I'm pretty sure I do. I'm pretty sure she does. So good for her. Pay the line blue chip. Jeepers, I didn't open up our email with this. I won my 3,000th race. Finally got the monkey off my back. Won my 3,000th race with Pay the Line Blue Chip, which is kind of fitting because she's a nice little filly. She went from being erratic and making a lot of breaks in the winter when she was sore to getting those corks off. And really, I don't think she's missed the board since we got the corks off her. She's won her last 2 and raced great the other night. Just hung on to beat Sally DeVee, our other horse. So it was a good race. I was happy to win my 3,000th, especially with a blue chip horse, because I'd send out a Facebook post and an email saying that, you know, although we haven't had much luck with the blue chip horses, Tom Grossman has, one, instilled a lot of confidence in me in what we're doing with all the business he's given us, and 2, has been very, very helpful with us getting on our feet. I mean, just imagine starting what Amy and I did 3 years ago without any reputable people. You know, Jeff Gorell bought a horse with us, Blue Chip, Diamond Creek, a whole plethora of other farms and owners and trainers. And this year we have Ron Burke bought a horse with us, Mark Weaver, Mike Buscemi, Adriano Sorello, people of notoriety, if you will, in the industry. And it's important. It's one thing to say you can do a good job or say that you're a reputable person or operate your business in a good way, but without those people behind you, for other people just to look and see, it makes it very difficult. So I would have to believe that Tom Grossman and Blue Chip Farms played an instrumental role in the ascent, if you will, the how quickly we punched a hole in this industry and really built something for fractional ownership in this industry. So for Tom, I appreciate the business. Obviously, Tom doesn't own Pay the Line Blue Chip anymore. I do. But you know, for Tom, I really do appreciate the help, and very happy. I was hoping I'd win it with Road Tripper last week, but winning it with Pay the Line Blue Chip means a lot also. So very happy to win my 3,000th race, and my phone blew up. And I guess the only downside of having 437 clients and 1,100 people on an email list is when you do something of note, your phone just explodes. I think my phone crashed Saturday night. I was still messaging people today saying, hey, thanks a lot, you know, and really, really special night for my family and I, and happy we got it done. So Pay the Line Blue Chip on a bit of a roll. Kevin has got her dialed in. Awesome. It's racing good. And most of you say, oh, she only win the condition claimer. Listen, I'll be very honest. I don't care what race I win, as long as I win. Winning races is for me as a trainer and a driver important. For you, you want to have a great experience, and I've always touted about the excitement and the experience of TheStable.ca. But let's be honest, we all want to win races. So for me, if you can win a race for me, I'm very, very happy. So let's Pay the Line Blue Chip. Stonebridge Hall made it back for our patient owners. The ones that I said he'd be gone for 2.5, 3 months, and he was gone for 6. Your wait is over. Qualified fantastic at Mohawk on Friday morning. Looked great, 2 minutes, I think 28 and a piece on the end of it, but looked good doing it. A little soft still. Obviously, we're a little protective of him all spring, so we're going to school him probably next week and then race him after that. That'll be best for him. Tortola Sunrise made a bit of a break the other day. I like this horse, and I always get along really good with him. I think we screwed up. I knew I was going to be in London Friday, and Kevin entered me down to drive him, and James had one in there. So James had to drive the other horse. We ended up with Louis Philippe Bois, and obviously Louis Philippe Bois is a fantastic driver, doesn't know the horse. Get into the first turn, he get running in, made a break. I think he's first or second if he doesn't make that break. So a little frustrating to watch that type of stuff take place, but nevertheless, Tortola Sunrise will be back next week and come out swinging. Art Seeker, 5th, I think, in the City of London. Big mile, raced well. Just can't help but think that Cole hasn't reached down real deep yet and dug down and really thrown us a huge mile. Okay the other day. I expected more. I think he'll show us more throughout the season, but I was hoping for a first or second place finish in London and end up with a 5th. A little deflating, but at the same time, that's horse racing, you know. I don't think he's missed a check in forever. And still picking up money. So a long season yet for Art Seeker. And Dewey Ann made her return to the barn last week, jogging. We gave her time off. She was one of those horses that was kind of on the bubble, but not really. She won her first lifetime start. She had some soreness issues, so we gave her some time off to grow out a little bit, fill out a little bit. I think this filly's races, her best races, are way in front of her. But best thing we can do is keep her sound and keep her comfortable until her body catches up to her mind. You know, mentally, she's already a winner. She wants to do her work, knows exactly how to race, and loves to compete. I think with the corks on, we just asked her for too much in the winter and the spring. She got a little sore, so we turned her out. She is back and ready to start training. So we talked about Lawmaker, Cruising in Style, Canale Hanover, Kevin's stable's done. Move on to Jason. So maybe I should break. Should take a break maybe and then start it back up. So Kevin's stable's done. Looking for a good week. We got Art Seeker's going to make another start. Happy Holidays making her first start. Facing Justice probably 10 days away. Not a week, but 10 days away. And then we have Dancing at Midland, X-Rayed Good, and a whole plethora of other ones. So not a bad week in Kevin's barn. I don't think they're going to be writing articles about us in the Toronto Sun just yet, but he had a good week. So we'll move on to Jason, who also had a good week. Back to you in a second. So, we got Kevin done. Now we're going to do Jason. Oliver Frederick James McDonald.
I'm only letting Ava play the game with me.
Okay. So, Jason's burn. A little bit of a setback this week with Airway. Blew a big pus pocket out of the bottom of his foot. You know, the left one was 3 weeks ago, now the right one. He was on a bit of a tear before that. So he's going to miss a week, that colt. Not a big deal. He'll be back at it soon enough. American League was actually also eligible tonight at Flamborough, so he is also going to miss a week. Probably going to school him Monday. I don't know. I'm gonna ask Jason if he has any plans on school in that colt Monday. Boston Glide, we talked about him, minor injury. We're going to get that patched up. He's going to miss about 3 weeks. He's already missed a week. Going to get that under control quickly. Buckeye Babe bled a little bit in her schooler last week. Just a 1.5 out of 5. But after reminiscing, if you will, looking back on her past races this year, last year there was never any speed. She was always quick on the end of the mile as a 2-year-old. This year she was flattened out a couple of starts. So she might have been bleeding, so we put her on Lasix. Her first date, so in Ontario, you have to wait 15 clean days before you can race when you enter into the Lasix program. Her 15th day was tomorrow, which they usually write the maiden on. So it was fantastic. Only tomorrow's Confederation Cup night. They moved it to Saturday. So she missed another week on Lasix. She's another filly, might be able to school on Monday. We might have a busy day on Monday. Busy, busy day. Buckeye Babe, so she'll be back next week for those of you that own pieces or just are fans of Buckeye Babe. Fan the Flames, he's in to go Monday night, I believe. Oh, I know, I don't know, because I have to go drive Promise Blue Chip. Promise Blue Chip in why didn't I talk about Promise? Oh, she's Jason. Promise Blue Chip in London, we have them in London. You know, Promise Blue Chip's a little finicky. And Fan the Flame's pretty easy to drive. I don't really know who's driving Fan the Flames. I assume James or Sylvain. They both drove them. One of the two. But I'm going to London to drive Promise Blue Chip. Mystical Mission broke through last night. Won the bottom class. Nevertheless, Jody drove him. He's always been a stone cold closer for us. Jody too moved him to the front. He went in 55, I think. I wouldn't say Ava or Ollie. I can hear you, you know. Your whispering's not really whispering, just so you know. So, broke through last night with a win in... Dad. Love you too, buddy. Broke through last night with a win in at Mohawk. Good for Daryl because we raced 3 horses for Daryl last night. Tortola Sunrise made a break in the first. The Schizophrenic filly, Who's Your Muscle, who really wasn't that bad. I'm going to downgrade her from schizophrenic to just really annoying. She made a break for no reason in the middle of the straightaway, which is unlike her. She really wasn't that bad last night. Made a break in the middle of the straightaway. She has to requalify on Monday. And then cruising, and then Mystical Mission, who thank God won the race. So so good for Daryl. Daryl's had a bit of a slow start to the year. He had a huge start to the year with Mystical Mission when he was really rocking, and then kind of tailed off, and Tortola Sunrise needed time, and then he bought Who's Your Muscle, and she's been a bit of a nightmare, but starting to get things back going in the right direction for Daryl. So happy to see Mystical Mission, Jody, and Jason click with her. Peregrine Blue Chip qualified the other day, finished up really well. There's a filly that really been an utter disappointment. We paid her into everything at 2, stopped with her because we thought it'd be the right thing to do, brought her back, and really hasn't done what we needed her to do just yet. She qualified, hey, sound machine. She qualified on, was it Friday she qualified? No, Monday or Friday she qualified. 58 or 59 last quarter and 28, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Ava, you can stop faking right now, please. You're gonna find me get upset. Finish your word search. I know what you're doing. Bit of a drama queen. She's looking for an Academy Award. But Peregrine Blue Chip qualified well. Said to Jason, he's gonna have to do more. She's gonna have to do a little bit more if you know, to pace with the pace of the maiden fillies at Mohawk. Getting around a half right now would be a little tricky. They went in 57 off half in a minute at Flamborough the other day. Maiden fillies at Mohawk went in 53 and 4. So I think we just need to get her a little bit tighter. So she's almost ready. Hopefully she comes out swinging and does some good things. She's got some work to do, though. Work to do in front of her. I'd say, personally speaking, from what I felt the other day, she is 4 weeks from going a big mile, if you will. Promise Blue Chip finished second her last 2 starts, beaten fair and square in London. Condition claimer or otherwise, she was beaten fair and square, but raced well. Little weak on the end of it. I thought she was bleeding a little bit. We scoped her and she was clean. So she's not She's not super comfortable on a half-mile track, but she's getting used to it, and she's staying sound. So that's the main thing. 3 starts ago, she made a break and did not look good. Her last 2, she actually raced well, finished second. Pace 58, if I'm not mistaken, in London the other day. Real Willie, we made some equipment and shoeing changes on. He missed a week, so we schooled him the other day. Made a break in the first turn, but came an incredible last quarter in recovery. Was flying on the end of the mile. I think Jason's got him heading in the right direction. Not that he wasn't to begin with. His last 2 starts, he was clearly lackluster. But making some gains as of the weekend. Oliver Frederick James, can you stop making noises, please? Okie dokie, Smokey. So that was Real Willie. Rose Run Speedster, we decided to qualify him with the hobbles on. He had a little bit of a problem. Tortola Sunrise and Rose Run Speedster both fit the same class, and the race office called Jason or Kevin, I can't remember which one, and said, well, we implemented a new rule. We're only going to take multiple stable entries in the maiden and the open. That's it. All the other classes in between will only take 1 horse. Now, they look at TheStable.ca as one entity, which is fine. That's great. But all winter we race together. And there's a couple of trainers that do really, really well at Mohawk and Woodbine. And I guess they were worried about the classes being cannibalized. Anyway, we could argue this all day. I think it's a ridiculous rule, but nevertheless, it is what it is. So Rose Run Speedster missed a week. We took the opportunity to put the hobbles back on him. He's not as effective on a half-mile track, free-legged, if you will. So we decided that we will put the hobbles back on him in case we had to race on the B track. He will be racing next week in the 15 claimer. We'll probably race Tortola in the non-winners of 3,000, where Mystical Mission raced last night. Obviously 2 different horses, but Tortola Sunrise, he's not as good as he was, but he's still good right now. And I don't think last night was a fair depiction, if you will, of what he's ready to do. So Rose Run Speedster will be in the 15 next week with hobbles on. Zeppelin B flat on Thursday night, but had that hellish trip to Ohio. Last week, and trotted 58 last half, 58, but finished 9th. And we just need to see more from him this week. And I hope we will, and I think we will. So Zeppelin B will be back this week, and then it's down to Ohio. I think it'll be full-time for the rest of the summer. This will be his last Ontario start until later in the year. We'll get him down there. We'll get the Ohio horses qualified 2nd week in June. So June 8th is his next stake race down there. We'll send him down, I would hope. I haven't spoke to Dan Ader yet. Hopefully Dan can take him first start, and then when Jason and Kirby go down, we'll absorb him back for the rest of the summer. And then we have Hoosier Muscle. We talked about her back into qualify, but less psychotic. So that's a bonus. She was less psychotic in London. You know, if she was a good horse, we'd never talk about her. But she's a mediocre trotter, but the classes she's in, she should be able to manhandle them if she behaves. So trying to get a little touch of common sense put into her. I wasn't unhappy with what I saw from her Friday night. I don't think she meant to actually make the break. In the race, she's not a dirty horse. Just in the post parade, she gets really rowdy. In the warm-up, she can get a little bad. In the race, she's not really a bad horse at all, and made a very uncharacteristic break in the middle of a straightaway. Got a requalifier. So we got our race horses kind of whittled down from what they were earlier in the spring. Obviously, we have the babies coming up. We're going to be focusing on them for the rest of the summer as Jason leaves and moves to Ohio with the horses with Kirby. You will see Kevin absorb some of Jason's Ontario overflow, if you will. As I said, we're going to be talking to Harry Polton about dusting off his training suit and opening up a shed row here, as we always planned. And I think that that'll do it for the summer. Amy and I are going on the road, but my calendar is not filled in yet, as I want to get a good look at what these horses are going to do, and what they're going to do with the schoolers and qualifiers. So a lot going on. Everything is still very, very fluid at the stable for the month of May and deep into the month of June, but it will begin to get really, really crazy here over the next 3 weeks, and really fun, really cool. This is the part of the year that we all plan for. So great things happening, great things coming up. Back to you with a quick little run through of the babies. in a couple of minutes. You got to look at the racehorses, give you a little out-of-town action, what our plans are moving forward, and then we'll round up with what I see from the babies and what I'd like to see from the babies over the next 5-6 days.